All right, y'all. Shalom. Most High Christ bless. Welcome to tonight's class. Tonight's class is entitled Make No Marriages with Them. I'm your brother Jacob, and to my left,
I'm Brother Joe Ab.
and so what we're getting into tonight, it was inspired by hashtag, what's it? End racism, make mixed babies.
Damn.
So that's what we're getting into tonight. We're going to show you some stuff. The interracial relationships is not just like being with our oppressor over here in the United States, not just being with the so-called white man
Right.
or the so-called white woman. It's not just them. It's any nation outside of the 12 tribes of Israel. And we're going to show you some images today, and then there's some images we're not going to show because we don't want to sow confusion. Our people have gone out and lay and mix themselves among the other nations, so there's going to be some confusion. The Lord gonna have to fix that.
Oh, man.
He gonna have to work that out.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to do the best we can do. But let's open up like we did last week with Ezekiel 33. We just hit a couple verses and then we'll get right into the topic.
Shalom, Most High Christ bless. Happy Sabbath. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 33 and verse 7. So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, thou shalt hear the word at my mouth and warn them from me.
So the watchmen have to hear the word of the Lord from his mouth and then go to Israel, the children of Israel, and give them warning from him. He's not warning the other nations. He's warning Israel. Mm-hmm. He's only ever dealing with Israel. Now, give me verse 14. Pick back up at 14.
Verse 14. Again, when I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, if he turn from his sin and do that which is lawful and right. If the wicked restore the pledge, give again that he had robbed, walk in the statutes of life without committing iniquity, he shall surely live. He shall not die.
Now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to get old and die. Let's talk about in that day when the Lord judges the quick and the dead through Christ, that you're going to live in that day. Now, jump down to verse, keep going, 16.
Verse 16. None of his sins that he hath committed shall be mentioned unto him. He hath done that which is lawful and right. He shall surely live.
Damn, y'all, you realize what that's saying? Go ahead.
Yet the children of thy people say, the way of the Lord is not equal. But as for them, their way is not equal.
Yeah, it's your way that's not equal. The
Right.
Lord is equal. Go ahead.
Verse 18. When the righteous turneth from his righteousness and committeth iniquity, he shall even die thereby.
So if you turn from righteousness and go back to being wicked, you're going to die in that day.
Right.
You're going to be woke to everlasting shame. Go ahead.
But if the wicked turn from his wickedness and do that which is lawful and right, he shall live thereby.
So, and this is what we're teaching. Contrary to the Christians. Well, the Christian church will tell you to repent, but they won't tell you what to repent from.
Right.
You got to turn away from transgression of the law back to keeping the laws. So that's our job, to go to our people, tell them to repent, because that time is drawing near very fast. We're already in World War III, believe it or not.
Yes.
So we're dealing with not to make marriages with the other nations. Now, give me Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1. We're going to be kind of back and forth, but within the Old Testament and the Apocrypha. Ezra 9 and verse 1.
The book of Ezra, chapter 9 and verse 1. Now, when these things were done, the princes came to me, saying, the people of Israel and the priests and the Levites have not separated themselves from the people of the lands, doing according to their abominations, even of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Ammonites, the Moabites, the Egyptians, and the Amorites.
You know what, y'all? We forgot to get Japanese and Chinese, Ammonites and Moabites.
Right.
Go ahead, verse 2.
Verse 2. For they have taken of their daughters for themselves and for their sons, so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands.
So the holy seed, meaning the children of Israel, have mingled themselves with those sons and daughters of the other people. Go ahead.
Yea, the hand of the princes and rulers have been chief in this trespass.
Now, when you look at the Levites, a Levite has to take a woman that's a virgin. So let's say, okay, you in your 40s, right? You, God forbid, something happened to your wife,
Right.
and you're a Levite. The law said you have to go get a virgin. You got to go get. You're gonna have to go get you a woman that ain't never been with nobody. That's what the law said. Or, you could take a widow that had a Levite husband.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's how strict it is.
Yeah.
But these dudes, they took wives of the other nations when they were in captivity and brought them back. Let's go to 2nd Ezra 8.
Wow. That's
Because
crazy.
it named some nations here, but it left out one. So we got to go to it. 1st Ezra 8 and verse 68.
So first Ezra 8. The book of 1st Ezra, chapter 8 and verse 68. Now when these things were done, the rulers came unto me and said, the nation of Israel, the princes, the priests and Levites, have not put away from them the strange people of the land, nor the pollutions of the Gentiles, to wit of the Canaanites, Hittites, Perizzites, Jebusites, and the Moabites, Egyptians, and Edomites.
Right. So in Ezra, in the regular Ezra, it left out the Edomites. So
Right.
we went here to get them all. Every nation outside of the 12 tribes of Israel, we are not supposed to deal with them. That's the law.
Right.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, what was I?
You
That's
just
just
read
8.
69.
All right. Verse 70. For both they and their sons have married with their daughters, and the holy seed is mixed with the strange people of the land. And from the beginning of this matter, the rulers and the great men have been partakers of this iniquity.
Right. So saying the rulers would be your the Levites. Now let's go to Judges. So when you look in the Old Testament, you see all these different things happening. So now we're gonna, since I'm still here, let me name these again. So our brothers had mixed with the Canaanite women, Hittites, Perizzites, Jebusites, Moabites, Edomites, Egyptians, Ammonites. So we're going to have a whole lot of different looks.
Right.
A whole lot of different looks. That's why I don't get involved when the brothers be talking about E1, B1A, and DNA and all this.
No.
We've been mingling with the other nations for thousands of years. As soon as the Lord said, don't do it, we started doing it. That's us. So we're going to show you some examples First, we're going to Judges. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the Philistines, they were Hamites. Let's go to Judges, to a famous account. And something you're going to pick up on is we put ourselves in a lot of predicaments.
Right.
But the Lord is a mastermind. And he uses things to his advantage. So let's go to Judges 14 and verse 1. We're going to start at verse 1.
The book of Judges, chapter 14 and verse 1. And Samson went down to Timnath and saw a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines.
So here's our brother Samson. Samson. He's a Danite. I'm not hungry, y'all. I just made a mistake. I'm not hungry. So Samson, he saw a Philistine woman. Just like our brother Judah, he saw a Canaanite woman. And we're going to show, we have, the saying, aren't you not like the Ethiopians unto me? Mm-hmm. So Ethiopians are Canaanites. Our forefather Judah, he laid and had children with a Canaanite woman. We got all different kinds of looks. Ain't no way around it. But go ahead, verse 2.
Verse 2. And he came up and told his father and his mother and said, I have seen a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. Now therefore get her for me to wife.
So he saw this woman and, it's obvious he had lust on him and he wanted her for a wife. But you know what? It's overlooked right here. He went to his mother and father and said, I want her for a wife.
Right.
He didn't go and rent a room.
Right.
And just got a quick hookup. Like brothers do nowadays.
Right.
That's the way of the world nowadays.
He kind of ran it by them first.
Yeah, don't nobody do that. Anybody going, oh yeah, let me go tell my mother and my father about this sister I saw. Or this woman I saw.
He was a little rough with it though, you know what I'm saying? Go get her for
me. Right. All right, go ahead.
Verse 3. Then his father and his mother said unto him, Is there never a woman among the daughters of thy brethren, or among all my people, that thou goest to take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistines?
Like, yo, son, why can't you get one of the daughters of Israel?
Right.
What you want with this woman of another nation? This uncircumcised woman of another nation? I mean, a woman can't get a circumcision. So you know what that means. Wife of an uncircumcised Philistine. Go ahead.
And Samson said unto his father, Get her for me, for she pleaseth me well. But his father and his mother knew not that it was of the Lord, that he sought an occasion against the Philistines. And at that time, the Philistines had dominion over Israel.
Right, so they didn't know. Samson himself didn't even know. But like the Lord will use you for his purpose. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to chapter 16. In verse 4.
The book of Judges, chapter 16 and verse 4. And it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Zorek, whose name was Delilah.
Yeah, y'all know the story. Samson and Delilah. Even if you don't know the story, you've heard those names before.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Verse 5. And the lords of the Philistines came up unto her and said unto her, Entice him, and see wherein his great strength lieth.
Now, you better believe that they're doing that to this very day. Mm-hmm. They use women to get close to you. I ain't gonna make no further comment on that. They use women to try to get close to you and bring you down.
Right.
Remember that. If everything is written aforetime for our learning, why you think this is here? Go ahead.
And by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him, and we will give thee every one of us 1,100 pieces of silver.
Right. So they hearing her. Oh, you can be rich.
Right.
But what they saw that he loved her, so they went to her to try to use her against him. Go ahead. Come on.
Verse 6, and Delilah said to Samson, tell me, I pray thee.
Hold on. She didn't tell them to go to hell. She didn't tell them that I don't want your money.
Right.
I love Samson. That's my man. She didn't say that. She went straightway and did what they said. Go ahead.
Tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lieth, and wherewith thou mightest be bound to afflict thee.
What kind of question is that? Like, what can I do to take away your strength so that I can have power over you? Bind you up, tie you up, and there ain't nothing you can do.
At this point in time, with a question like that, she already has power over him.
Right. Like, where's his mind at?
He done. He's done.
Verse 7.
Verse 7. And Samson said unto her, if they bind me with 7 green withs that were never dried, then shall I be weak and be as another man.
You good. Now jump to verse 16. That ain't work.
Right.
Verse 16.
The book of Judges, chapter 16 and verse 16. And it came to pass, when she pressed him daily with her words and urged him, so that his soul was vexed unto death.
So she kept on and kept on and kept on until she had vexed this man to the point where he just like, he wants some peace.
Right now, I'm vexed. 'Cause
Right.
I know what we call
You know what it feel like.
Man, she... Oh, my gosh. Verse 17. That he told her all his heart and said unto her, there hath not come a razor upon mine head, for I have been a Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb.
You know what? It just hit me. Because remember I was talking to a brother and I asked him, when did God give the commandments to all nations? And he said, well, nations that was around about them would have known the commandments. Why didn't she know about the vow of the Nazarene then? The vow of the Nazarite.
Right.
You got to stop lying.
Right, because it had to be long as I don't know what.
Right.
You know, since birth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even before he was born, it was prophesied.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man.
Right, because the vow would be over. His strength came from that vow. Go ahead.
And when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called for the lords of the Philistines, saying, come up this once, for he hath showed me all his heart. Then the lords of the Philistines came up unto her and brought money in their hand.
Go. So you see what happened? But it's a whole important story, but we want that right there to show that when push come to shove, they gonna side with their people. They really not for us. I don't care how much they love you. Because we see, like when we go out to camp and let's say a Jake and an Edomite come by, and if you get the Jake to stop, she going to start walking off.
Yeah.
She going to walk off a distance. You see that. Even when you watch other camps' videos, it's the same thing. They end up walking. They ain't trying to hear, oh, you got to separate yourself. Oh, your God don't want you doing this. Your God don't want you doing that. They don't want to hear that. They not for it. So, let's go to Numbers 25 now. and verse 1.
The book of Numbers, chapter 25 and verse 1. And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab.
Now, you know who? Naomi. No. Ruth.
Ruth, there you go.
Ruth was a Moabite.
Right.
That's a completely different story. That has a law all to itself. The law of, that's brotherly love, raising up seed to your brother. That's what that's about. Mm-hmm. Now, this, irregardless, you're not supposed to take a wife of any other nation. That's a different story right there. But watch what happens here. They began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. Irregardless, if you lay with one, if you marry one, it's still whoredom. Being with a woman of another nation is whoredom, period. Because you're not supposed to be with them. Go ahead.
Verse 2. And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods.
Mm-hmm.
And the people did eat and bowed down to their gods.
Isn't this written in the law? Because the Lord knew it.
Right.
Go ahead.
And Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord said unto Moses, take all the heads of the people and hang them up before the Lord against the sun, that the fierce anger of the Lord may be turned away from Israel.
Right, so they had to kill the people and take their heads and hang them up for the anger of the Lord to be turned away. To be turned away. Like we opened up with the example of in Ezra and Esdras. They had to put away them wives, and they made a deal to put them away to keep the anger of the Lord from coming upon them again, coming back out of captivity. Jump down to verse 6.
Verse 6. And behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman in the sight of Moses.
In the sight of them, right? Go ahead.
And in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
So they trying to make supplication and repent, and they see this brother coming with a woman of another nation.
Dang.
Come on.
Verse 7. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, saw it, he rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand.
Right. If some of y'all might remember old movies with this scene in it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And he went after the man of Israel into the tent.
So he took that woman in his tent, right? Go ahead.
And thrust both of them through.
Now, how is it that he thrust both of them through? What were they doing?
Man, they had to been kissing or something, or doing the thing, doing
right.
the do. Right.
Right.
The man of Israel and the woman through her belly. So the plague was stayed.
So they weren't kissing. They weren't just kissing. Went through both of them, through the belly.
And pelvis popping.
Mm-hmm.
So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel.
So by him, Phinehas, putting them to death, that stopped the plague from coming upon Israel. You can't make an excuse to be with somebody of another nation. You just can't do it. Now, you got to do the best you can, because you got brothers look like me, you, all of us, and they don't be our people.
Right.
So you got to do the best you can.
That's how
you know what I mean?
That's how you know not to go by skin color
at
all. Gotta
right.
go by the spirit. Gotta go by the spirit.
Go. Read verse 9. That'll be it for right there.
Verse 9. And those that died in the plague were 24,000. 24,000 people had to go down.
All right, let's go to another famous example. 1 Kings 11:1. Because you'll run into some brothers that be trying to make excuses.
Oh, to
Yeah.
think it's gonna be cool with the Lord.
You know what? I be forgetting sometimes. I was in a long-term relationship. I was in a Whoredom relationship for 16 years. For a long time. And when I read this, it's lights out. It was over.
I heard that.
Over. Because I was kind of like your boy when he called and said, I ain't never coming home. Except I had found the Lord. I was like, I ain't never coming home.
Right.
All praise to the Most High for that. 1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 1.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 11 and verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites.
So it doesn't matter who, but when you look at Israel, he was taking wives of the nations that was around us.
Yep.
And you know, they made deals back then. Take my daughter, you know, to be your wife, to form allegiances. That's how kings did. But you have people that think that they'll read. Let's go to it. Go to Genesis 10 real quick. You have some brothers and sisters that get really confused by this right here. Give me... Start at verse 2. Pay attention, y'all.
The book of Genesis, chapter 10 and verse 2. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tyrus, and the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Rippah, and Togarmah, and the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dudanim.
So these, you look at these are the islands where Greece and Rome and Europe, that stuff, these are those islands, right? Now, verse 5.
Verse 5. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families, in their nations.
So, the isles, meaning the islands of the Gentiles, were divided in their lands. But we have people that think that these are the only Gentiles. It's talking about the islands. These are the islands of the Gentiles. So Japheth had this territory. That's what it's saying. It's not saying that only Japheth is Gentiles. That don't make no sense. Back to 1 Kings 11. So it's all, you have the 12 tribes of Israel, and they're called Gentiles sometimes. But all the other nations, we're not supposed to deal with them. Period. Not in that capacity. So verse 3. Yeah, verse 3.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 11 and verse 3. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines. And his wives turned away his heart. For it came to pass, when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods. And his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, as was the heart of David his father.
See, so your heart is supposed to be perfect with the Lord. Like he told Abraham, walk before me and be thou perfect. And in 1 Kings 8 and 63, I believe, said, let your heart be perfect with the Lord. 61. So let your heart therefore be perfect with the Lord. Keep going.
Verse 5. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites.
Yeah, this is it's the same deity, just different names because it's different nations. This is Ashtaroth, Princess Diana of the Ephesians. It's all the same thing.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 6. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord, and went not fully after the Lord, as did David his father. Then did Solomon build an high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab.
Remember, we touched on it last week. High places. High places is where, you would worship gods. You would have an altar and you'd worship gods. So remember and this is the Book of Kings, but when you're reading in the Book of Kings, they didn't tear down the high places.
Right.
They would name the kings, and so he did evil in the sight of the Lord and didn't tear down the high places. Well, he didn't tear down the idols. So Solomon built high places for these gods. Go ahead.
In the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Moloch, the abomination of the children of Ammon. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods.
See that? They sacrificed to their gods. Where at? Where were they?
In our homeland.
Yes.
Damn.
Read verse 9.
Verse 9. And the Lord was angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned from the Lord God of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice, and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods, but he kept not that which the Lord commanded.
All right, now let's go to Nehemiah chapter 13. We might not be that long. We might take a break after this. I'm thirsty. Nehemiah 13. It's funny. Nehemiah and Ezra is pretty much the same story. I think Nehemiah go a little more into detail. Yeah. Nehemiah 13 and 23.
The book of Nehemiah, chapter 13 and verse 23. In those days also saw I Jews that had married wives of Ashdod, of Ammon, and of Moab. And their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod, and could not speak in the Jews' language, but according to the language of each people. And I contended with them, and cursed them, and smote certain of them, and plucked off their hair.
He ain't care, bro.
And made them swear by God, saying, Ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves.
Yeah, he was. Nehemiah was.
He was that dude, man.
Yeah, he was serious.
Oh yeah. Popping him across the head, talking about some small world.
Yeah, he was kind of like Paul. Except Paul was putting you to death, but he was like Paul. It's
Right.
like he won't having it. Verse 26.
Verse 26. Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things?
Sin, because some people will say that, oh, now God accepts everybody. That's not sin no more.
Man, come on, man.
Go ahead.
Yet among many nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of his God, and God made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin.
Yep, those women caused him to sin. Eventually, he gave in and built them high places and allowed them to worship their gods. Go ahead.
Shall we then hearken unto you to do all this great evil?
See that? Great evil. Go ahead.
To transgress against our God in marrying strange wives? And one of the sons of Joiada, the son of Elishab, the high priest, was son-in-law to Sanballat, the Horonite. Therefore, I chased him from me.
So that dude, that's a whole nother story right there. We kind of went over that last winter. when we were talking about the other nations can't build with us. He was
Right.
he was one of
Right.
the enemies.
Right. Okay.
And he, matter of fact, I think he was living in the temple. Yeah, he was staying in the temple, and I think his mom was Israel, but his dad wasn't, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
But anyway, we're gonna take a break now, and then when we come back, we're gonna get into Genesis, and show you like some interracial stuff in Genesis, and then we're gonna give you a lot of images. We got to give you these images because we're gonna show you some images, and you might think, "Oh, these people, because they look good,"
Mm-hmm.
but we ain't supposed to be with them.
Right.
So we're gonna take a quick break. I'm really thirsty, and then we'll be back. Finish.
Flashback to when you came into the truth. Didn't know how you were feeling, emotions running through the roof. Now you're lashing out to all your family and your friends, 'cause they're not hearing you. But you gotta be patient, like the Most High was with you. Broad is the path to destruction, but narrow is the path to life. You can't keep causing contention while busy trying to be alive. You gotta get that spirit right. You gotta get that spirit right. Now you're lashing out to all your family and your friends, 'cause they're not hearing you. But you gotta remember that you're an ambassador to this truth. Broad is the path to destruction, but narrow is the path to life. You can't keep causing contention while busy trying to be alive. You gotta get that spirit right. You gotta get that spirit right. Now you're lashing out to all your family and your friends, 'cause they're not hearing you. But you gotta use wisdom before you turn someone off from the truth. Broad is the path to destruction, but narrow is the path to life.
All right, shalom, y'all. We back. Let's go to Genesis 34. No, I don't want this yet.
Not yet.
No, I don't want this yet.
Okay.
Let's go to Genesis 24 then.
24.
Yeah, we're going to say that 34 for last. Verse 2.
The book of Genesis, chapter 24, and verse 2. And Abraham said unto his eldest servant of his house, that ruled over all that he had, Put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and I will make thee swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell. But thou shalt go unto my country and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son Isaac.
So you know what this crushes? You got, so first off, you got all these people that they'll say, see, Abraham was a Syrian. He was a Gentile. Epic fail. Abraham's lineage goes all the way back to Seth, who was a son of God. Now, everybody's lineage come through Noah, but there's a chosen lineage, and you see that when you follow Abraham's lineage. Same as Christ, it goes all the way back to the sons of God. Those were the ones that were chosen. So he sent his servant to go get one of his kindred. Mm-hmm. His kindred. Give me verse 9.
Verse 9. And the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham his master, and swore to him concerning that matter.
Right, so he made him a promise. Give me 26. Genesis 26 and verse 34. Oh, yeah.
The book of Genesis, chapter 26 and verse 34. And Esau was 40 years old when he took to wife Judith, the daughter of Beri, the Hittite, and Bath-shemoth, the daughter of Elon, the Hittite, which were a grief of mind unto Isaac and to Rebekah.
Why is that?
Two women of another nation.
Yeah, well, they're living in the land of Canaan.
Right.
So he took Canaanite wives.
Damn.
But you know, you ain't supposed to take a Canaanite wife.
That was willful.
Right. Everything, he's abject or opposite to everything that we supposed to do. Mm-hmm. 27 and 1.
The book of Genesis, chapter 27 and verse 1. And it came to pass that when Isaac was old and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son, and said unto him, My son. And he said unto him, Behold, here am I. And he said, Behold now, I am old, I know not the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver and thy bow, and go out to the field and take me some venison.
No, you good, you good. You good. I want 20. I'm sorry, y'all. 27. Oh, I wanted verse 4 to 6. My bad. It's okay though.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. Then we're gonna go to 28 and 1. I'm sorry. I thought I was in the wrong place. But yeah, verse 4 to 6. Give me 4 to 6.
The book of Genesis, chapter 27 and verse 46. And Rebekah said to Isaac, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth, such as these which are of the daughters of the land, what good shall my life do me?
See that?
Dang.
You can't, so they know. They know. They know. You have to take someone of your own lineage. That lineage, the sons of God. That's all you supposed to deal with. Just like Isaac had to go back. Well, Isaac didn't go himself. The servant went and got him one of his own kindred, and he married her. And then Jacob had to go back to his kindred in Syria and take them to wife. Now, give me 28 and 1.
The book of Genesis, chapter 28 and verse 1. And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said unto him, Thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan.
Now, remember, the reason they're saying this is because they are the people of the land. They're living in the land of Canaan. You can't take a wife from the women that's round about. You have to take a wife from your own people. Read verse 2.
Arise, go to Padanaram, to the house of Bethuel, thy mother's father, and take thee a wife from thence of the daughters of Laban, thy mother's brother.
Right. So there, they used to say when we were young, keeping it in the family. They're staying within that family. You can drop that, I believe. Yeah, you can drop that. Well, no. Yep, give me 3. Read verse 3 too.
The book of Genesis, chapter 28 and verse 3. And God Almighty bless thee, and make thee fruitful, and multiply thee, that thou mayest be a multitude of people.
Okay, now, chapter 29 and verse 14.
The book of Genesis, chapter 29 and verse 14. And Laban said to him, Surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abode with him the space of a month.
So for those of you who don't know, when it says bone, thou art bone and my flesh, that means they're the same people. They're of the same lineage. Go to Genesis 2.
Right.
Yeah, this was like this type of stuff. It goes over a lot of people's, especially Christians. But it goes over your head because in Christianity they tell you again. I don't know what the hell going on. Let's see if we can wait it out. What's the percentage? 22. That don't make sense.
No.
Yeah, that don't make sense. Something going on. I can see it shuttery too. Look, while we waiting on that, let's just start. Let's show them some of these pictures, man. We'll hold off on the scripture. Let's see if it improves in it. Yeah. That right there. One of our sisters with Esau. I imagine that's Esau. But when you look at a situation like that, the children are of the seed of the father. So that's what they're going to be. Yep, just keep showing them. I'll throw them for a few minutes. Oh, yeah, go back to that last picture. I don't know why it overloaded like that. So, like, we were talking earlier before class, and, like, growing up in this world, you see the so-called white man's version of,
Beauty.
what beauty, really is supposed to be. So, like, this is Jennifer Love Hewitt, and she's a really good-looking Edomite woman. But irregardless of that, it's still not our people.
Right.
That thing was pushed in our face. But now, we got, damn, there's overload again. But despite that, we're supposed to stick with our own people.
Mm-hmm.
Give me another one.
I don't know why I never thought of this. You remember back in the 80s, Molly Ringwald?
Oh, yeah.
She was like supposedly a teen heartthrob back then.
Yeah. Not my book. But, but look at this. You got this sister, and she got her head covered up. She might be in Islam or something. And how can you be in Islam and be standing there with Hashatan? Yeah, that's what they call them.
Ain't it though?
Now that woman, what's her? Excuse me.
Huda Katan.
Yeah, Huda Katan. What's her nationality?
Iraq.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
She's Iraqi.
She has like an Angelina Jolie type look to her.
Yeah, but the people in the world is so mangled together.
Right.
It's hard telling who's who.
Yep.
Go there next one. Yeah, Lucy Liu. Lucy Liu. So Lucy Liu is Moab.
All day.
And shoot, I remember like when this movie came out. What's the joint with that? She had the sword.
Oh.
It was a 2-part movie. She was
no.
Yeah, Kill Bill.
Kill Bill.
She was in Kill Bill.
Yeah.
All the brothers was talking about
And one of
Lucy
Charlie's
Liu.
Angels.
Lucy Liu. Yep.
She was Charlie's
Lucy Liu.
Angel.
Lucy Liu. Go ahead, give me another one. Oh yeah. Lucy, that's Scarlett Johansson.
Mm-hmm.
She was the sex symbol at one time, like 2007, 8, 9, 10. They still be pushing her in Avengers.
Yeah, since she's done that last Black Widow.
Mm-hmm. You go ahead. Oh, yeah, here's a tricky one. Because a lot of people think, this is Selma Hayek, a lot of people think that she is a Northern Kingdom Israelite, Hispanic, or Latino. Yeah, Latino. But, actually, her mother is Latino. Her father is Lebanese.
Dang.
Yeah, she's Arab.
Wow.
Or somewhere in there. And then this is something that's real common today. Sisters marrying Esau.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's something new.
Yeah,
Remember they spun that in Hollywood with Sanaa Lathan.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically you've come from the shack to the main house.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. This is, I can't pronounce her name. She is Persian. She's Iranian. And all these women, make no mistake about it, they're beautiful women.
Right.
But they're not our women. Oh, yeah. Look at this one. She look like a sister, don't she?
Yeah, that one's tricky.
Yeah.
If you just go by looks, boy.
Yeah, you can't just go by looks.
Yep.
She's Ethiopian.
Ah, the ones that look closest to us.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then that is one of your better looking Hamites. Yeah. It's not overloading no more. What?
Back and forth.
Yeah, bro, that is definitely ham. Look at it. Yeah, she does look close to us, though, don't it? Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of confusion, especially in Africa, man. Like
Wow.
I be looking at we got the brothers over in Bamenda, and I be asking Judah, man, how can you tell who's who? But you gotta be there. I guess you gotta be there to be able to figure it out.
Yeah, it's gotta be. You gotta see it in the spirit.
Yeah.
You gotta see it in the spirit. But you gotta be spiritual to see it too.
I know that's right. Now, Genesis. Oh no, we're not. We're gonna come. Genesis 20, Genesis 34 gonna be the last thing we hit. Let's go to Tobit 4 now.
Okay.
Book of Tobit. One of my favorites.
Hey, y'all get a chance. Y'all need to go see that class Jake did on Tobit. Broke that joint down.
It's a heavy book, man.
Yeah. It had a lot of laws in it when Tobit was keeping.
Start at verse 12. 12 and 13.
What,
Tobit 4.
Okay. The book of Tobit, chapter 4 and verse 12. Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers.
So he making it very apparent.
Mm-hmm.
If
Right
you
off the
take
top.
if you take a woman to wife of another nation, that's whoredom. It's not a marriage. I've had private conversation with brothers on my phone, and they be like, yeah, I'm going to do such and such with the woman that the Lord gave me. Like, bro, stop it. The Lord did not give you that woman.
Right.
That's your own lust. The Lord did not give you a woman of the other nations. Now, He might allow you to do that until you find out.
Mm-hmm.
But then what you going to do? It's on you. We've seen brothers come to the congregation and you give them time to repent and they don't never repent. Mm-hmm. Then some would just be like, they would act like they're just fake, like they going along with it. But meanwhile, in their spirit, it just didn't sit well with them and then they end up leaving, I mean, I've even seen brothers come in, then eventually leave, and then become the greatest enemies of ours.
Mm-hmm. All because they didn't want to leave that woman alone from the other nation.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll start over.
Yeah.
The book of Tobit, chapter 4 and verse 12. Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of thy father's tribe. For we are the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred, and were blessed in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land.
Hold just give me Genesis 38 real quick. Because you did have one knucklehead. But Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they took wives of their own kindred. And then the patriarchs of the 12 tribes, you don't read about them stepping out of line except for one. Right here. Give me verse 2.
Genesis 30 and 2.
38 and 2.
38 and 2. My bad. The book of Genesis, chapter 38 and verse 2. And Judah saw there a daughter of a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua, and he took her and went in unto her.
Go ahead.
And she conceived and bare a son, and he called his name I bet. And she conceived again.
You good. So Judah stepped out. He went a Canaanite woman.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ethiopians are Canaanites. Back to Tobit.
Named his son He did
So man, our people have mingled with, like, even when you're reading, when we were in the wilderness, the woman had a son by an Egyptian man. So it was just always mingling with the other nations. So we got all these different looks. That's why I was saying, brothers be talking about DNA. Go ahead.
Verse 13. I'm sorry. The book of Tobit, chapter 4 and verse 13. Now therefore, my son, love thy brethren, and despise not in thy heart thy brethren, the sons and daughters of thy people, in not taking a wife of them.
See that? So if you don't take a wife or a husband of your own people, you're showing hatred. You're showing hatred to them, and you're showing hatred to the Most High too, because He the one that told you to do it. Go ahead.
For in pride is destruction and much trouble, and in lewdness is decay and great want.
See,
For
it's calling it lewdness.
Right.
Damn, go ahead.
For lewdness is the mother of famine.
Damn.
Damn.
Lord gonna cut you off.
Oh. Let not
No,
the-
you good. You
Okay.
good. You good. Now, let's go to Tobit 6, 11 and 12.
I'll tell you what though, when you start looking in the grand scheme of things, he know Israel we go by looks first.
Especially the men.
So now,
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things, he start giving you different looks of Israel. So now you got choices. You got different flavors now. He know his people, boy. 6 and
Start at verse 10. How we looking on time? Yeah, we're good.
the book of Tobit, chapter 6 and verse 10. The angel said to the young man, Brother, today we shall lodge with Raguel, who is thy cousin. He also hath one only daughter named Sarah. I will speak for her, that she may be given thee for a wife. For to thee doth the right of her appertain, seeing thou only art of her kindred. And the maid is fair and wise.
Oh wow, she got it going
She
on.
holding down the laws too.
Yeah, she look good and she keeping the commandments.
Now therefore hear me, and I will speak to her father.
Hold on, I gotta say this, man. I remember, brother, he was joking when he said it, but he saw some sister and she was fine, and he said she looked like she want to keep all the commandments.
I heard that.
That's funny though, man. That's funny. But go ahead. It made me think about what he said. Start from the top again.
The book of Tobit, chapter 6 and verse 12. And the maid is fair and wise. Now therefore hear me, and I will speak to her father.
Speak to who?
Her father.
Speak to who?
Her father.
See how it's supposed to go?
Right.
If you don't do that, you cheating that man.
Sure
That
is.
man raised her up. He raising her to be somebody's wife. Don't be a nigga and destroy that.
Not just that. He's man enough to go to her father.
Right.
That's a different breed right there. Ain't nobody doing that nowadays.
No.
Yep, he man enough to go get what he want.
Go ahead.
And when we return from Ragus, we will celebrate the marriage. For I know that Raguel cannot marry her to another according to the law of Moses. But he shall be guilty of death, because the right of inheritance doth rather appertain to thee than to any other.
All right. Tobit 7. Damn. I love when it comes to marriage. I love this. I love Tobit, man. Then when you read from chapter 4 all the way to the end, you see how it's supposed to be. That man, he took her back to his parents, and she became their daughter.
That's dope. That's how it's supposed
And
to be.
yeah, and like they told Tobit, do her no wrong in your lifetime. Man, yo, that's tight. Chapter 7 and verse 12
The book of Tobit,
to 14.
chapter 7 and verse 12. Raguel said, Then take her from the henceforth, according to the manner, for thou art her cousin, and she is thine. And the merciful God give you good success in all things.
See, if you follow the Lord, He gonna give you good success in all things. He went to his father. He had the angel speak for him.
That's dope.
Right.
That's dope.
And
Oh, and did anybody catch the angel called him brother? You know, just a little,
no, they're gonna think you crazy, man. The Christians gonna come on. Try to get you shut down. Go ahead.
Verse 13. Then he called his daughter Sarah,
Mm-hmm.
and she came to her father,
Mm-hmm.
and he took her by the hand and gave her to be wife to Tobias.
Y'all brothers doing that today? Are you asking for this sister's hand in marriage from her father?
Nah.
Is he giving you his daughter?
They ain't even trying to meet the dad. Yo.
Mm-mm.
And the daughter ain't even trying to introduce him neither.
Nope. That show you her intentions. If she ain't doing that, her intentions ain't good.
Right.
If he don't want to meet him, his intentions ain't good.
Right. Saying, behold, take her after the law of Moses, and lead her away to thy father. And he blessed them.
Oh.
And called Edna his wife, and took paper,
Mm-hmm.
and did write an instrument of covenants, and sealed it.
So they got it done legally.
Right. That's a marriage certificate.
You good. You good. Now, chapter 8. And start at verse 5.
The book of Tobit, chapter 8 and verse 5. Then began Tobias to say, Blessed art thou, O God of our fathers, and blessed is thy holy and glorious name forever. Let the heavens bless thee and all thy creatures. Thou madest Adam, and gavest him Eve his wife for an helper and stay. Of them came mankind. Thou hast said, It is not good that man should be alone. Let us make unto him an aid like unto himself. And now, O Lord, I take not this my sister for lust, but uprightly. Therefore, mercifully ordain that we may become aged together.
So
Oh.
he's saying, I'm not taking her for lust. Even though she's fine and she's smart. Never forego a good and wise woman.
Right.
So he's not taking her for that purpose, but because it's ordained that they be together and that they both follow the Lord and raise up righteous seed to build a righteous nation. That's how it's supposed to be.
Look, he says, therefore mercifully ordained that we may become aged together.
Yes.
And a lot of people ain't looking for that.
No, they just,
They be
for
in
a
the
time.
moment for that
Yeah.
marriage, that wedding, that attention. They in it for the moment, for the ceremony. They don't want to put in the work for after the marriage.
Yeah, the woman, she might just want that $30,000 wedding.
That's it. That fat engagement ring. Like I said, all the attention, vainglory. Damn shame. Then it turns something so beautiful into something so ugly, man.
Goodness. Give me, since we're here,
Okay.
no, I'll hit that some other time. So, all right, we got one more place to go. And this is, we're dealing with interracial, and it's a situation that we have been taught in the past that it was rape.
Oh yeah.
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 When in all actuality, it's not rape.
It's not. Yeah. That's why it's good to
Keep reading.
keep reading, examine the matter, man, and define words. Sometimes the words get us caught up too.
Yeah. Yeah, got to look at stuff because you
Right.
look. Matter of fact, before we go there, let's go to Deuteronomy 22. And give me Give me verse. hmm.
9 and 10, maybe.
No, Deuteronomy 22 and give me 23.
Gotcha.
Deuteronomy 22 and verse 23.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 23. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband, and a man find her in the city, and lie with her, then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones, that they die. The damsel, because she cried not, being in the city, and the man, because he hath humbled his neighbor's wife.
So she's betrothed when they haven't lied together, right? So now, read verse. Damn, we gotta read this. Read verse 15. Start at 15. So when you dealing with somebody and they're talking about Virgin Mary, that doctrine, right? They always say, why did Joseph want to put her away? Well, this is why. Start at 15.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 15. Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate. And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hateth her. And lo, he hath given occasions of speech against her, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid.
So he's saying that he went into her, she already been dealing with another man. Go ahead.
And yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity.
So you're supposed to have the sheets showing where that blood was on it.
Right.
Those fluids was on it from when they consummated the marriage. Joseph and Mary didn't do that. You don't read about that. But go ahead.
And they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city.
Right. So if that fluid is on there, then they know that she was not touched. He's lying. But if there ain't no sheets, or there ain't nothing on them sheets, then they know she been with somebody. Go ahead.
Wow. What am I, 17? 18? Thank you.
Yeah.
Verse 18. And the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him.
Jump to 20.
Verse 20. But if this thing be true, and the tokens of virginity be not found for the damsel,
So if you ain't got no sheets,
then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her with stones, that she die.
damn.
Because she hath wrought folly in Israel, to play the whore in her father's house. So shalt thou put evil away from among you.
Right now, jump to verse 25.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 25. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die.
So this one in 25, if the man force her,
Right.
that's rape. That's rape. What we about to read, the example we're going to go to, it don't say force. Genesis 34 and 1. Watch these laws play out. We was always taught that this was rape. It's not.
Right.
Now you get a better understanding of it. This is interracial relationship right here.
No. Relations.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, relations.
You're right. Genesis 34:1.
The book of Genesis, chapter 34 and verse 1. And Dinah, the daughter of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land.
Now, why would she be going out to see the daughters of the land?
Right.
They're in Canaan, right? You know the Canaanites serve other gods. They do all these wicked things.
Right.
Come on.
Verse 2. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her and lay with her and defiled her.
Now, what does that mean? He took her and lay with her and defiled her.
Right.
It doesn't say that he raped her.
Right. Now, see, people got to remember, this man was a prince. So that means he's much loved among his people.
And he got status.
And you know the women were after him.
Of course.
You see what I'm saying? So he got options. But Dinah had to be something else.
Yeah.
Got his attention.
Yeah, he took her and lay with her and defiled her.
Remember the other women, they fighting for his attention.
I'm pretty sure.
Dinah got his attention. It's a difference.
And he just like Samson. Watch.
Verse 3. And his soul clave unto Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the damsel, and spake kindly unto the damsel.
Now, it don't sound like he raped her. So they lay together, and this dude, he is, some people would say he whipped now.
He sprung.
Yeah, his nose wide open.
Oh,
all those sayings.
Boy, I'm going to drive a tractor trailer through that nose.
You show your age, man. Come on.
Oh, man.
Oh, go ahead.
And Shechem spake unto his father Hamor, saying, Get me this damsel to wife.
Just like Samson.
Just like Samson. Good God. Verse 5. And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah, his daughter. Now his sons were with his cattle in the field. And Jacob held his peace until they were come.
So the way Jacob found out is the father came to ask him for Dinah to be his son's wife. Watch.
And it's crazy because that was actually honorable. He did right.
Yeah.
It's
The
just-
thing that wasn't honorable is his Dinah going land with this dude, and then she say nothing to Jacob or her brothers.
Bro, she embarrassed her whole household.
Right. They found out from the father, from Shechem's father. Watch. Next verse.
And Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out unto Jacob to commune with him. And the sons of Jacob came out of the field when they heard it. And the men were grieved, and they were very wroth, because he had wrought folly in Israel in lying with Jacob's daughter, which thing ought not to be done.
Now, why should it not be done? You ain't supposed to take a wife or a daughter of the other nations. We went through that earlier with Abraham, Isaac, and even Jacob. But in his daughter, she steps off the reservation.
Right.
Now, what should she have done? She should have gotten a husband back in Syria with their family members. That's what she should have done. But I'm sure she was impatient, and she went and stepped out with a daggone Canaanite.
And it's crazy because I'm looking at this right, and I'm seeing what we would call misplaced hate.
I wouldn't call it that. I mean, the dude don't know, but hey, it is what it is.
Right.
But they got different laws. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We got laws from the Lord.
Right.
They got different laws though. Keep going.
Verse 8. And Hamor communed with them, saying, The soul of my son Shechem longeth for your daughter. I pray you give her him to wife,
Keep going.
and make ye marriages with us, and give your daughters unto us, and take our daughters unto you. Not according to our law. Verse 10, and ye shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Dwell and trade ye therein, and get you possessions therein.
Right. So Deuteronomy 7, verse 1. See, so a lot of the commandments, when you're reading through Genesis, Exodus, you see them play out. Leviticus, even Deuteronomy, you see the laws playing out. And then people be like, but see, before Mount Sinai, there was no. You out your damn mind.
I'm about to say, let's keep it going. When you get into the New Testament, guess what? They never went away. They still playing out.
Yep.
So what's up with you New Testament cats that say the Old Testament is done away with? Nah, it's not.
The Old Testament's done away with. It never would have been a reason for Christ to come.
Exactly. Christ said, as it is written.
Yeah, all those things must be fulfilled. Deuteronomy 7 and 1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 1. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land, whether thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them.
They gotta go. Go ahead.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
Right.
Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son.
Did Jacob give his daughter? No.
No.
If dude said he would even give him money.
Right.
He would give him a dowry.
No.
Nah, you're going to get circumcised and then you're going to get put to death.
Right.
Go ahead.
Nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
So we don't want your daughters either.
No.
Just so we showed you a bunch of women of the other nations and they fine. But guess what? The Lord said no.
Yep.
Find one of your own. Go ahead.
Verse 4. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods.
Didn't that happen with Solomon? See?
Yep.
You see everything play out according to the law. So this is why I tell people, when you look at the Bible, don't look at it like a novel. You got to read the commandments. Everything that's happening is based off of commandments. People are either living or people are dying because they're either keeping or not keeping God's commandments. Go ahead.
So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly.
You want an example? The book of Ruth. Mahlon, Chilion, they married women of Moab. Them and their dad was gone.
Right.
Because it said you can't get them, you can't give them or take their daughters as wives.
Right.
That's why Ruth. Oh, let's go to it real quick.
Okay.
Who's the page? 600. Watch what Ruth said.
No, it's past 600.
Is it?
348.
Really?
Yeah, 348.
Damn. Yep. I want verse. Where is it? Just hold tight, y'all. You gotta hear what she said.
It's crazy. I don't know why I thought Ruth was a longer or a bigger book.
Yeah, it's short.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of quick and to the point.
Yeah.
There it is. No. There it is, verse 13. So, you have righteous women besides the men that understood God's commandments. Read that, Ruth chapter 1 and verse 13.
The book of Ruth, chapter 1 and verse 13. Would ye tarry for them till they were grown? Would ye stay for them from having husbands?
Mm-hmm.
Nay, my daughters, for it grieveth me much for your sakes that the hand of the Lord is gone out against me.
Right. The hand of the Lord is going out against her because she has lost her husband
And her
and
sons.
her sons.
Yep.
She understood that. And what they do, I mean, you got brothers that say that, you know, that Ruth was an Israelite. I don't see that at all.
No.
At all.
No, not from the words that she was saying. It's no way.
No.
It's no way.
No, I even looked up, like, you know, because they like to go to the Strongs and stuff like that. The word that they use, what we got? Like verse 4? And they took them wives of the women of Moab.
Man, look.
But
I gotta read this.
Go ahead.
She said it herself. Listen to what Ruth herself said. The book of Ruth, chapter 1 and verse 16. Mm-hmm. And Ruth said, entreat me not to leave thee, or to return from following after thee. For whither thou goest, I will go. And where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God my God. They're not the same people, man. And she know that.
right. Now, verse 4 said they took them wives of the women of Moab, right?
Right.
I looked that word up for Moab, right? Go back to where we went earlier, Numbers 25 and 1.
Okay.
It's the same exact word. Because people can play on words. So that woman for Moab right there,
Yeah.
same word right here.
Said Numbers 25 and
Yeah,
1.
Numbers 25 and 1.
The book of Numbers, chapter 25 and verse 1. And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab.
Yes, the same word, whoredom. We went
Right.
to Tobit. It's whoredom if you deal with a woman of another nation.
Right.
The same exact thing right here. Same exact thing. Keep going. Keep going.
Verse 2. And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods, and the people did eat and bow down to their gods.
Now then Ruth told Naomi, your God will be my God.
Your God will be my God. Your people will be my people. Nah, man.
End of story, man. End of story. People can believe what they want. You're not gonna get salvation for either way right here. Because salvation, you'll get your salvation by understanding who you are and what's required of you, meaning to keep the commandments.
Right.
1 Corinthians 13. But, there's all kinds of doctrines. I'm not against my people at all. Our job, teach our people, keep the commandments.
Right. As it is written.
Yep. Verse 13.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 13 and verse 13. And now abideth faith, hope, charity, these three. But the greatest of these is charity.
The greatest is charity. Now, faith is way up there, right? It's way up there, too. You got to have, you can't do it without faith. But even with that faith, you got to have charity. You got to have love for your brothers and sisters at the highest level.
Right.
Hold on. Let's go back to Tobit 4 real quick.
Okay.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Faith, the highest amount of trust. Tobit 63.
8.
Tobit 8.
Tobit 8 and 10.
The book of Tobit, chapter 8 and verse 10, saying, I fear lest he also be dead.
Oh, 4? Oh, I said 8 and 10? I'm sorry.
You good.
Tobit 4 and 10. I was looking at 8 first, then I said 10.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
The book of Tobit, chapter 4 and verse 8. If thou hast abundance, give alms.
10.
Oh.
So I looked at 8 and then said go to 10. My bad.
Okay. Yeah.
Verse 10.
The book of Tobit, chapter 4 and verse 10. Because that alms do deliver from death, and suffer not to come into darkness.
1 Peter 4 and 8. So how is it that alms deliver from death? You see, alms isn't tithing. Right. Alms is not you have to pay this 10% or 15%. It's you doing this out of the willingness of your own heart. It's brotherly love.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 4 and verse 8. And above all things, have fervent charity among yourselves. For charity shall cover the multitude of sins.
Right. That's love. Love covering the multitude of sins. So, that's tonight's class. Don't commit whoredom with the women of the land.
Right.
Or with the men of the land. Stick with your own people and be patient. Be patient. Like Paul said, if you have a wife or a husband, seek not to be loosed. And if you don't have one, don't seek to have one.
Man, why you had to say them words? You made me think about T.D. Jakes. Woman, thou art loose.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man. So she loose to commit further whoredom.
Yeah, she committing whoredom in the congregation.
Right.
Got men following out there. They get on my nerves. Man. We'll get back to them. But that's been tonight's class. So don't commit whoredom, physically or spiritually. Right. With that, I'm Brother Jacob.
And I'm Brother Joab.
And we got Brother Yasharal on the wheels of steel. Got him a fresh haircut, just like me. Fresh cut,
you know. I'm looking wild right now, but I'll be all right tomorrow. Lord's will.
Yes, sir. With that, y'all, we say